Leif Garrett was born Leif Pernervik on November 8, 1961, in Hollywood, California. His birth name, which has a Scandinavian tone, suggests possible Nordic ancestry, though details about his heritage remain unclear. Growing up in Hollywood, a city deeply intertwined with the entertainment industry, he was surrounded by the glitz and glamour of show business from an early age. With striking good looks and natural screen presence, it seemed almost inevitable that he would be drawn into acting. Unlike many aspiring child actors who struggle to find opportunities, Garrett had an early start thanks to the encouragement and support of his family. Both Garrett and his two sisters, Dawn Lynn and Deborah Lee Scott, were introduced to casting opportunities at a young age. Their family actively took them to auditions, hoping to secure roles for them in the booming film and television industry of the late 1960s and early 1970s. By the age of 5, Garrett had already begun working, making his film debut in 1969's Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. Though his role was uncredited, it marked the beginning of what would become a long and eventful career in the entertainment industry. His family played a crucial role in shaping his career. His sister, Dawn Lynn, was also involved in acting and even appeared alongside him in the 1973 crime drama Walking Tall. The film, which depicted the real-life story of Sheriff Buford Pusser and his battle against corruption, became a cult classic. Dawn Lynn played one of Pusser's children, making it a shared cinematic experience for the siblings. Garrett's other sister, Deborah Lee Scott, also pursued a career in acting, becoming well known for her comedic roles in television shows such as Mary Hartman, and Angie. Unlike many child actors who struggle to establish themselves, Garrett's rise to fame seemed effortless. His early years in show business were filled with roles in both television and film, and by the time he reached his teenage years, he had already built an impressive resume. However, growing up in the spotlight also meant he had little privacy and was exposed to immense pressure at a young age. While other kids his age were attending school and living normal childhoods, Garrett was working on film sets, balancing the expectations of his career with the realities of adolescence. Leif Garrett's career followed a trajectory that many child stars experience: an early rise to fame, peak success in his teenage years, followed by struggles to maintain his career as he transitioned into adulthood. Each phase of his professional life reflects both the advantages and challenges of growing up in the entertainment industry. Garrett was exposed to show business from an early age. His good looks and natural charisma quickly set him apart, and he found early success in acting. By the early 1970s, he was a recognizable face on television, securing guest roles in popular series such as Nanny and the Professor, Family Affair, and Gunsmoke. These roles, though small, helped establish him as a young actor with potential. His first major television role came in 1975 with 3 for the Road, where he played the son of a freelance photographer traveling with his family. The show, however, was short-lived and was canceled after just a few months. Despite this setback, Garrett's career continued to gain momentum. He landed roles in feature films such as Macon County Line, 1974, and Walking Tall Part 2, 1975, which were well received at the time. His performance in Walking Tall Part 2, the sequel to the 1973 film based on the real-life story of Sheriff Buford Pusser, helped him gain further recognition in Hollywood. While his film roles were not always leading parts, they contributed to his growing reputation as a promising young actor. As his acting career progressed, Garrett's interest in music grew. In 1977, he made a major shift by signing with Atlantic Records. His debut album, featuring covers of classic hits like Surfin' USA by the Beach Boys and Run Around Sue by Dion, propelled him into teen idol status. His combination of musical talent and heartthrob looks made him a favorite among teenage fans, and he soon became a regular presence in magazines such as Tiger Beat and Teen Beat. Garrett's next album, Can't Explain, 1978, continued his reliance on 1960s rock covers, including The Who's hit I Can't Explain. His music, while criticized for lacking originality, was commercially successful due to his popularity as a teen idol. Seeking to evolve his sound, he later transitioned to a more contemporary disco-influenced style when he signed with Scotti Brothers Records. This shift led to his biggest commercial success, Feel the Need, 1978, featuring the international hit I Was Made for Dancin'. The song became his signature hit and remains his most recognized musical achievement. While Garrett was enjoying success as a pop star, he did not abandon his acting career. He took on a recurring role in the television drama Family, 1978, and starred in Skateboard, the movie, 1978, which capitalized on the growing popularity of skateboarding culture at the time. However, as the 1980s progressed, Garrett's fame began to wane. His transition from teen idol to adult performer proved difficult, and his career suffered as a result. One of his last major acting roles came in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders, 1983, a film that featured an ensemble cast of rising stars including Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, and Matt Dillon. Despite the film's success, Garrett struggled to find consistent work afterward. The bright spotlight of his early fame began to fade, and he eventually withdrew from the mainstream entertainment industry. After years away from the public eye, Garrett experienced a brief career resurgence in the late 1990s. He was invited to host VH1's 8-track Flashback, a nostalgic music program that revisited classic hits from past decades. In 1999, he was featured in VH1's Behind the Music, a documentary series that explored the highs and lows of his career. Around this time, he also attempted to revive his music career by forming the band Godspeed. However, the group recorded only a handful of tracks before disbanding. From the early 2000s onward, Leif Garrett's career took on a new shape as he explored different creative avenues, while grappling with the challenges of his past. In 2000, he collaborated with the Melvins, lending his vocals to their cover of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit on the album The Cry Baby, an unexpected move that showcased his willingness to experiment beyond his pop roots. Around the same time, he was also involved in theater, playing the title role in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and appearing in the National Theatre of the Deaf's production of A Child's Christmas in Wales. In the years that followed, Garrett became a familiar face on reality television. In 2006, he participated in a celebrity edition of Fear Factor and won the $50,000 grand prize, proving that he still had a competitive edge. On New Year's Eve that same year, he performed in Las Vegas with the retro act Original Idols Live, where he shared the stage with other nostalgic acts like the Bay City Rollers and Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods. The event reflected, unlike his early years in Hollywood where he was often the subject of tabloid gossip, this show allowed him to be in on the joke. He frequently poked fun at his own past, embracing his reputation with humor and self-awareness. Despite these lighter projects, Garrett's long battle with addiction remained a central part of his story. In 2010, he joined the cast of Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, where he openly discussed his struggles with heroin use. The show documented his efforts to get sober, as well as his complicated family dynamics. His sister, Dawn Lynn, and his mother, Carolyn Steller, appeared in one episode to confront the ways his addiction had affected them. Though he had been in and out of rehab for years, his participation in the series gave the public a raw, unfiltered look at the depth of his struggles. Garrett continued making music sporadically, collaborating with punk rock artist Craig Elsey in the early 2000s. He released 2 digital singles, Everything in 2010 and Help You, Make You in 2012, followed by a cover of Neil Young's Old Man. Though these releases didn't bring mainstream success, they showed his persistence in making music on his own terms. In 2019, he took another step toward reclaiming his story with the publication of his autobiography, Idle Truth, co-written with Chris Epting. The book provided a revealing account of his rise and fall, shedding light on the hidden realities of his career. One of the most shocking revelations was that during his peak years as a pop star, his producers had frequently replaced his vocals with those of session singer Jim Haas. In some cases, Haas even performed behind a curtain during live shows while Garrett lip-synced. This revelation only deepened the sense that his career, while wildly successful on the surface, had been built on an industry machine that prioritized image over authenticity. In recent years, Garrett has stepped away from the spotlight, but continues to reflect on his past. In 2024, he shared on social media that he had spent over a decade caring for his aging parents, calling it the hardest job I've ever done. Though he has not returned to mainstream success, Garrett remains active on social media, engaging with longtime fans and occasionally sharing new music. His journey from a teenage heartthrob to a man who has survived addiction, financial ruin, and personal loss serves as a cautionary tale, but also as a testament to resilience. Despite everything, he continues to live life on his own terms, carrying the lessons of his past into the present. Leif Garrett's life took a dark turn early in his career, as fame and fortune exposed him to a reckless lifestyle that spiraled into addiction and legal troubles. His struggles with substance abuse, financial ruin, and repeated arrests became just as well documented as his early success in music and acting. What started as youthful experimentation with drugs soon escalated into a lifelong battle that would overshadow his accomplishments and reshape his public image. Garrett's problems with substance abuse began when he was just 14 years old. As a teenage idol in the late 1970s, he was constantly surrounded by temptation, excessive partying, access to drugs, and an environment where bad behavior was often excused due to his fame. By the time he was 17, his reckless lifestyle led to a life-altering tragedy. On November 3, 1979, just days before his 18th birthday, Garrett was driving a Porsche 914 in Los Angeles. The car, leased under his mother's name, was speeding through the streets with his best friend, Roland Winkler, in the passenger seat. Both had been drinking and using Quaaludes that night, a depressant drug popular in the 1970s. In a moment of lost control, Garrett crashed the car, sending it careening 80 feet down a hillside. Miraculously, Garrett walked away from the accident with minor injuries. Winkler, however, was not as fortunate. He suffered severe spinal cord damage and was left paralyzed from the shoulders down. The once promising dancer and musician would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. The tragedy deeply affected both young men, but for Garrett, it became a turning point that would lead him further down a path of self-destruction. In the wake of the accident, a legal battle ensued. In January 1980, Winkler's family filed a lawsuit against Garrett, citing negligence and seeking financial compensation for his medical expenses and lifelong care. The case dragged on for nearly 5 years before a jury ruled in December 1984 that Garrett's insurance company had to pay Winkler $3.9 million. The total damages assessed were $4,215,500, but they were reduced by 8% because Winkler was considered partially responsible for knowingly riding with an intoxicated driver. Despite the settlement, Garrett was haunted by guilt over the accident for decades. Rather than turning his life around, Garrett's remorse only fueled his addiction. His reliance on drugs escalated, and by the late 1990s, his struggles were no longer just personal. They became public scandals. In 1997, he was arrested for cocaine possession, marking the beginning of a series of drug-related legal troubles. 2 years later, in 1999, he was caught attempting to buy heroin and cocaine from undercover police officers in Los Angeles' MacArthur Park, a well-known drug trafficking area. The arrest further tarnished his reputation and signaled just how deep his addiction had become. Adding to his personal troubles, Garrett also faced severe financial difficulties. The lavish lifestyle of his youth, combined with poor financial management and legal costs, left him in serious debt. By October 2001, he was forced to file for bankruptcy in a Los Angeles federal court. Court documents revealed that his only steady source of income was a $1,000 monthly gift from his mother, and he had accumulated over $76,000 in unpaid credit card debt over 4 years. It was a shocking fall from grace for someone who had once been a multimillionaire teen idol. Despite multiple arrests and efforts at rehabilitation, Garrett's downward spiral continued. In 2004, he was arrested again on drug charges, showing that his struggles with addiction remained persistent. Then in 2006, he was stopped by Los Angeles police officers for attempting to ride the subway without a ticket. What started as a minor offense quickly escalated when officers discovered he was carrying heroin. This led to yet another arrest, after which Garrett finally agreed to enter a live-in drug rehabilitation program. Though he made repeated attempts at sobriety, maintaining it proved to be a constant challenge. In later years, Garrett opened up about his addiction and legal troubles, acknowledging how fame had contributed to his downfall. In a rare moment of reflection, he admitted that his rapid rise to stardom left him emotionally unprepared for the pressures and temptations that came with it. He was thrust into a world where he had wealth, influence, and freedom at an age when most teenagers were still figuring out who they were. The lack of structure, combined with enablers in the entertainment industry, allowed his substance abuse to go unchecked for years. Despite everything, Garrett continued to work on himself and sought to rebuild his life. He participated in the reality series Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew in 2010, where he openly discussed the depths of his addiction and the personal demons he had been battling for decades. His appearance on the show provided a raw and unfiltered look into the struggles of former child stars who had been consumed by fame at an early age. Leif Garrett's personal life, much like his career, was marked by intense public scrutiny and the complexities of maintaining relationships under the pressures of fame. Though he never married, he was romantically involved with several high-profile figures in Hollywood, some of whom were fellow rising stars, while others were already established in the industry. His relationships, often reported in tabloids, reflected not just his personal preferences, but also the fast-paced, sometimes turbulent lifestyle he led as a teen idol and later as an adult struggling with the aftermath of early fame. At just 17, Garrett was linked to Michelle Phillips, the legendary singer from the Mamas and the Papas, who was 34 at the time. Their relationship in 1978 caused quite a stir due to their significant age gap. Phillips, already a well-known figure in the music industry, was at a different stage in life compared to Garrett, who was still navigating the peak of his teen idol career. The brief romance fueled media speculation, and added to his growing reputation as a young heartthrob involved with older, more experienced women. However, their relationship did not last long, and both moved on to different phases in their lives. Following this, Garrett began dating actress Nicolette Sheridan in 1979. Sheridan was only 15 at the time, while Garrett was 17, making them a young and promising Hollywood couple. Their relationship lasted on and off for 6 years until 1985, during which both were establishing themselves in the entertainment industry. Sheridan later gained massive fame for her roles in Knots Landing and Desperate Housewives, but during their relationship, she was still an up-and-coming actress. The pair's romance was well publicized, and they often appeared together at Hollywood events. However, as Garrett's personal struggles with substance abuse worsened, maintaining a steady relationship became increasingly difficult. During the early 1980s, Garrett was also involved with actress Tatum O'Neal, who was already a well-known figure in Hollywood, having been the youngest actress ever to win an Academy Award for Paper Moon, 1973. Their relationship spanned from February 1980 to June 1983, a period when both were considered among the biggest young stars in the industry. However, O'Neal herself had a troubled history with drugs, which may have influenced their relationship dynamics. Despite their mutual success, their romance eventually ended, adding to the list of Garrett's relationships that failed to withstand the pressures of fame and personal struggles. Garrett's dating history also included actress Justine Bateman, best known for playing Mallory Keaton on the popular sitcom Family Ties. Their relationship, lasting from 1987 to 1993, was relatively private compared to his previous high-profile romances. By this time, Garrett's career had already started declining, and Bateman was gaining widespread recognition for her television success. Despite the relative secrecy of their relationship, it was clear that Garrett had a pattern of dating actresses and fellow industry figures, perhaps due to their shared understanding of Hollywood's unique lifestyle and pressures. One of the most significant relationships of Garrett's life came in the 1990s when he began a long-term romance with actress Elaine Bilstad. Unlike his previous relationships, which were often marked by media attention and public appearances, his time with Bilstad seemed to be more grounded. She was a talented actress known for her roles in Walker, Texas Ranger, and The Broken Chain. Garrett has spoken fondly of Bilstad, suggesting that she was someone he truly cared for and saw a future with. However, tragedy struck when Bilstad passed away in 1999 due to a heart condition. Her unexpected death was devastating for Garrett, adding to his struggles with substance abuse and emotional instability. Losing someone so close to him only deepened his personal turmoil and reinforced the difficulties he had in maintaining stable relationships. In addition to these major relationships, Garrett was also briefly linked to several other notable women in Hollywood. He had a short-lived romance with actress Christy McNichol, his co-star in the television series Family, and was rumored to have dated Brooke Shields and country singer Tanya Tucker in 1979. These relationships, while not as well documented as his longer-term romances, further cemented his status as a teen idol constantly in the public eye. Despite his many relationships, Garrett never married. In interviews, he has reflected on his romantic past, acknowledging that his lifestyle and personal struggles often played a role in his inability to maintain lasting relationships. The pressures of early fame, combined with his battles with addiction, created an unstable foundation for personal commitments. While some of his relationships were based on genuine connection, others may have been influenced by the Hollywood party scene and the intense scrutiny that came with being a celebrity. Later in life, Garrett attempted to use his experiences to guide younger stars facing similar struggles. In August 2013, he made headlines when he publicly offered advice to pop star Justin Bieber, who at the time was experiencing legal troubles and negative media attention due to reckless behavior. Drawing from his own mistakes, Garrett warned Bieber about the dangers of early fame, substance abuse, and the industry's tendency to exploit young talents. His words carried weight, as he had first-hand knowledge of how quickly a promising career could unravel if one wasn't careful. Leif Garrett, now 63, continues to navigate the complexities of a life once illuminated by early fame, but later shadowed by personal struggles. Despite past challenges, he has shown resilience and a commitment to personal growth, focusing on music, writing, and family responsibilities. Beyond his literary endeavors, Garrett has remained connected to his musical roots. In 2020, he discussed his involvement with his band F8 and the creative processes that continue to drive him. He emphasized the importance of authenticity in his work, reflecting on past industry practices that compromised his artistic integrity. On a personal front, Garrett has faced significant family responsibilities. In a heartfelt message shared on his official Facebook page in October 2024, he revealed that he had spent over 12 years caring for his parents, describing it as the hardest job I've ever done. This period was marked by profound loss, including the passing of his mother, Carolyn Steller, in 2022 due to stage 4 lung cancer. Despite these challenges, Garrett continues to engage with his audience. He maintains an active presence on social media, sharing updates and connecting with fans. For instance, he has posted videos on his official Facebook page, including one titled "The Right Thing" in October 2024. Reflecting his ongoing passion for music and performance. While he may not have recaptured the commercial success of his early years, Garrett's enduring commitment to his craft and personal development underscores a narrative of resilience. His story serves as a testament to the complexities of fame and the enduring human spirit's capacity to overcome adversity.